Good afternoon, Europe. Good morning, America. And welcome to a ZeroLight webinar on our concierge product. I'm Darren Jobling. I'm CEO of ZeroLight. And really, we're here to talk about our work with Lucid Motors and really how they convert their customers with unforgettable direct-to-consumer experiences. So the first thing that we're going to do is go through a little bit of housekeeping. So on your bottom bar on the far right hand side, you should see a little vertical icon. And if you click on that, what you'll be able to do is also ask on any questions that you might have. So at the end of the session, which will last about 30 minutes, we'll go through a Q&A. Any questions that you have, put them in there and we'll get to them at the end of the session. Now, but what we are going to do is start off with a little bit of audience participation just so you know that it's live. So if you go along and highlight the polls section, the question I've asked is, have you configured a car on lucidmotors.com? So if you can click on that, click on yes, no, and submit your vote. That allows to shape exactly who knows exactly what's been going on. So if we'll just do that there, click on that, and so far so good. It looks about 3/4 of you have actually been online and configured a Lucid Air, which is great. If you're in the 25% who haven't been and done it yet, I would definitely recommend it. It's the best way of seeing how the whole thing clips together. So in terms of the agenda for today, for the next 30 minutes, we're going to take a short introduction to ZeroLight for anybody that isn't familiar with the company. We'll then get straight into the main topic of the day, which is Lucid Studio Live, how it came into existence, what it actually does, and then we'll also do a live demo of it, followed by some of the results that have been experienced. And then finally, to wrap things up, we'll just do a very short Q&A at the end. So a little bit about ZeroLight to start off with. So really, we are a visualization platform with connected data, and fundamentally, we help automotive companies to sell their cars in what is, let's face it, a rapidly changing digital buying journey. And really, this mission goes beyond the specifics of our technology or our solutions. In the nearly 10 years that we've been in the space, it's evolved tremendously. And of course, it will continue to evolve, but this remains our unchanging mission. So in practical terms, what does that actually mean? Well, what it means is we address some of the strategic issues that are currently facing the automotive issue. And I'm sure we're all well aware of these. What's happening with direct-to-consumer and online sales, which is a major part of today. How do I move my configurator and make the most of my configurator? What's going to happen in retail with digitalization? How can I connect all these silos together in a connected customer journey? How do I generate all the millions or billions even of assets needed in order to personalize my customer journey? How do I do that on demand? And then finally, digital innovation. And I think this is a really, really interesting topic, because more and more automotive customers are associating the technology in their digital customer journey as being representative of the technology in the vehicle. And if the customer thinks, hey, they can't even do a really good website, what are they actually going to think about the technology within the vehicle itself? So this is the foundation of our work. And the reason that we're able to address a number of these issues is because ZeroLight exists as a platform. And basically on that platform, right in the heart of it is a 3D digital twin. It's a 150% configurable interactive model used by our platform in every single digital touch point. So there's two areas to that. Above the line, the digital twin is used in all the customer experiences. But below the line, it's also used to generate content both via a front end and also via API on demand. If we dig into the customer experiences, obviously key to this is an omni-channel configurator, where that digital twin appears on any device anywhere in the world. But then also we have a connected data pipeline. So when the consumer is actually interacting with the car, we're recording anonymized user behavior 10 times per second and using that fundamentally to personalize the journey. On the right-hand side, we also do third-party integrations. And what we mean by that is that more and more your configurator should be mobile across the internet. You can no longer rely on customers finding your main site. You fundamentally have to go out and grab them and bring them to you. So this is the work that we do with Facebook, Amazon, and others in terms of bringing your configurator off the OEM's main site, putting it in those sites and using that as an upper funnel channel. On the bottom, we've got the CGI tools, and these are accessed in two ways. There's obviously via the front end, but also the API access. Once you reveal yourself to a company like Lucid Motors, every single item that you see, every video, every website, every image is created via API access, and it's your car in your configuration. And an obvious use case for that is on the right-hand side in advertising. So what we're going to do now is take a closer look at the omni-channel configurator, or what we call the Beam suite. And really, what's really interesting here is the configurator contains 3 different modes, all of which you can see on Lucid. And this is important because the customer's needs change as they progress through their buying journey, as they go down through that funnel. And we think about it in 3 stages. At the top there's research, where the configurator got to engage and inform at a really enormous scale globally. However, what then happens is the customer will enter an evaluation phase where they're a little bit more serious. That at this stage, the configurator's got to inspire and captivate the customer to provide a better experience than the competitors that they're also considering at the same time. And then finally, you enter the transaction phase, where the configurator is able to advise, reassure as part of a final financial decision. So our configurator has been designed specifically to mirror these 3 stages with 3 flexible and adaptable modes. At the top, is palette. And what these are is fundamentally generating billions and billions of image-based turntables. So it's a low-cost solution for customers to be engaged across the world without spending a tremendous amount of money. However, once they move down, we then switch on interactive 3D streaming. And ZeroLight platform is unique in that we can, in real time, swap between static images and interactive during the one session. And then finally, we have what the session is all about today, which is Concierge. It's the shared online session between a product expert and a consumer to get them over the line. So in terms of what these 3 items look like, obviously palette is over there on the left. These are static images, but it goes way beyond just normal static images. You can have as many images in the turntable as you like. Also, these images also animate, so you can there you see the doors going, the trunk can open, the lights can switch on, etc. So it's a really cost-effective way of getting the consumer interested in your brand. Now, when they behave in a certain way, we can then switch on Palette Plus, which is in the middle. So this is totally interactive 3D streaming, and this really elevates the customer experience, providing a fully interactive 3D vehicle and scene. And then finally, for those hand raisers, we move on to Concierge, which is what we're going to look at today. And this allows a customer to share an online configuration session with a product expert from Lucid Motors. So this is really how it happens. And really what it does in Concierge, it addresses what we call the online vehicle sales paradox. So recent research tells us 2 true but contradictory pieces of information about customer preferences. First of all, you've got McKinsey saying that, hey, you know, buyers are less willing to interact with sellers at a car dealership. I think we all know that. We've all seen the number of dealership visits drop off. However, you've also got Bain and Company saying that consumers still show preference to close a deal with a real person. When it actually comes down to it, there's nothing like another person to give you the reassurance that you need. And this was really one of the key challenges that Lucid faced, but it wasn't the only key challenge that Lucid faced. So, what were those challenges that they had to deal with? And I think most of us can identify with this. Obviously, Lucid was a brand new challenger brand, so it had actually limited physical stock when they started. They also had low brand familiarity. They had expanding retail locations across the US, but obviously the US is a big place, so you can't have them all within traveling distance. And finally, to top it all, we've all had to deal with unfortunately, a global pandemic. And out of this perfect storm, we came up with Lucid Studio Live, which fundamentally addresses all of these three concerns and helps Lucid. It's a major part of their system to sell vehicles. So what Lucid Studio Live is, it's based on the ZeroLight Concierge product, and it offers guided configuration sessions between trained product experts. So here on the left-hand side, you've got the product expert using a modified version of the configurator to guide the person through the whole buying experience. And on the right-hand side, you've got the consumer at home, no matter on what device they're on, whether it's desktop, mobile, a tablet, they get delivered a fully 3D interactive vehicle, and then the product experts talks them through the key features of the brand. So you enter Lucid Studio Live from any one of three ways. Obviously, on the right-hand side there, you can actually go into Lucid Studio and register for a Lucid Studio Live session. On the left-hand side and in the middle, you can also do it via the website as a hand raiser and actually have that interactive experience. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to invite my product expert, which is Mr. Phil Scales from ZeroLight. Hello, Phil.
Hi, Dan.
Good stuff. So Phil is going to play the role of the product expert, and we're going to go through Lucid Studio live in this particular demo. So whilst Phil does the general introduction, I'll just get set up at my end as well.
Okay, great. I'll just start sharing my screen there for you, Darren. Okay, so I think it was around about 3/4 of you have seen the Lucid configurator. So some of this will be familiar to most of you, and certainly if you have been on there, the UI and UX that you're seeing here and how to control and configure the vehicle is exactly the same. Obviously, we did this to make sure that all of the products in their range were, and all the people who work with them across all the areas were familiar with all the areas. But what makes this different and makes it Lucid Studio Live is a couple key areas. So firstly is a small box that I can open here on the left-hand corner. So you're seeing my screen that's enlarged in the stream here. And you can see as a salesperson in this demonstration, I have a few features and functions that are more functional to help me guide Darren through this purchasing journey. So I already, just when you introduced me, Darren, I copied and pasted a link in our Teams chat that we've got. And I can see you've clicked on it already. You've got a 3D stream, that's correct.
Yeah.
You've actually got a 68 megabyte connection, and we're good to start the experience. I can also add multiple people in here, so I've got five different licenses open. I've also on my side, you can see I've got a series of different cameras here, and these are really designed by the Lucid product experts. But as we talk through this, I think it will begin to understand why we've got these. And just before I start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in a code here, and I'm going to load this code. So Darren previously went on the online configurator. He liked his design, he saved it, and that has gone into the CRM system within Lucid. They use Salesforce, and it's raised him as a lead and also saved his full configuration. So that's where I'm going to start as a salesperson today, and we can begin the session. So Darren, if you want to point upwards, everyone can see this is my screen and that's Darren's screen, and we can begin to have a conversation about finalizing this configuration and going through things. So Darren, I know you've had a look online. This is your preferred vehicle. Is there anything you'd like to talk through today?
Yes, so I'm a little bit worried about the space the battery is going to take up. So I've got a couple of kids and dogs, etc. What's the space like in the Lucid Air?
Great. Okay. Well, what we'll do is, to begin with, I'll talk about the frunk space. So you've got a huge amount of space in the Lucid Air. And to give you a good example of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop open the frunk of the vehicle. And what I'll do is I'll just move us to get a bit of a better vantage point so you can begin to see
Oh, yeah.
exactly what's in there. So as you see, you can zoom in, have a good look around. You've got two side compartments there, which you can hold in boots, shoes, whatever you want, books. You've got plenty of space. And then also there's a separate compartment just to keep things nice and tidy. And as you can see, you can zoom in there, you can see there's a bag in there, plenty of space available. So this is actually 220 litres of space within the vehicle. So that's the frunk. I'll just close this up. And maybe we can have a look at the rear of the vehicle and we can talk about some of the space that's in the trunk.
Okay.
Great. So again, what I'll do is I'll just pop open the trunk and you can begin to have a look through see. So first off, I'll lower the back seats there so that we can have a good look inside just to see how much space is available. So you can zoom in here. So huge amount, whether you're a surfer, Darren, a golfer, whatever your preference, you can fit a whole ton of spaces in here. And I'll close
Yes,
that up.
I'm thinking about taking up surfing, so that could be very handy. Handy.
Excellent, excellent. Well, if there's any wet gear that you've got, if you're surfing, there's another compartment in the rear here. So I'll
Okay.
open this up again. We've got a nice big case in here, but a huge amount of storage space just to keep it tidy if you want to have it in here.
Great. Now, thanks for that, Phil. One of the things I've heard about is, and I'm concerned about, to be honest, is the lights. So they don't look very big to me.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, let's take you back to the front of the vehicle
Okay.
and let's just put it in a slightly better environment so we can talk through those lights. So I'm going to move you to Mojave Desert, and this is just round the corner from the Lucid HQ, and we're going to be in the nighttime scene. So I've popped on the lights, and what I'll
Yeah.
do is I'll just pop on the high beam there as well.
Okay.
So on each side, you've got six separate lights, but each one of these lights is actually micro LEDs. Each lens of those is 7 millimeters in length, all omnidirectional with a huge amount of space. And obviously you've got this one luminescent strip connecting the complete front bonnet. And you've also got your indicators as well. They go on and off as separate on the front, and then also on the wing mirrors as well.
Okay. I think that puts my mind at rest about the lights. What about cabin space? What's it like inside? And what about the fit out of it inside?
Okay, good question. So I'll tell you what, let's move back into a slightly lighter environment here, and we can begin to explore exactly what that looks like. So to begin with, I think in your configuration, what we were looking at is a theme that you chose, and this was actually the Santa Cruz theme. So this is a Napa full grain, premium natural grain leather. But there are other options. I'm not sure if you want to have a look through them now, Darren.
Yeah, please.
Okay, we've got the Tahoe. This is on the Lucid Air Touring. Again, Napa grain, full grain, premium natural grain leather in black and saddle. So you can see the carbon oak trim. And again, if you zoom in there, maybe on the front seats, what you can begin to see is that lovely brown trim that you can get the stitching in there on there, which I think is a really, really lovely feature of the Tahoe. And then I'll just do the final one here. You've got Mojave. So again, it's using a lovely white stitching. And again, this is carbon oak trim, black and graphite. So really, really lovely color. Which one was your favorite that you preferred, Darren?
I think I'm going to stick with my first. I mean, they all look great, but I'm going to stick with my preferred choice. I give it a lot of thought. I'm going to stick with there it is. That's the one I want.
Okay, great. Okay, well, let's have a look inside the front of the vehicle in the cabin space where you'll be driving. So I've moved you there. First off, again, I'll move. You can have a look at the steering wheel. So we'll go into the steering wheel. You've got lovely controls within here, and again, the same lovely stitching that you've got. And you've got
Yeah,
two controllers on the left-hand right side. They control obviously the dash that you're seeing, all the different areas of the vehicle. And also on the right hand side, you've got another side console here. So you can interchange and place information up onto the main console or put it onto the side console. And again, if you don't want that there,
cool.
you can push it away, and you've got plenty of space to store other bits and pieces, as well as just by the armrest,
Yeah.
additional space for your coffee cups and other bits and pieces. And I'll finish off and we'll go into the rear of the vehicle so you can see what the cabin space is for your passengers.
Okay, yes.
Great. So again, I'll tell you what, I'll just open up one of the doors here on the side and you can begin to see how much lovely space there is for your for your people to get in the rear of the vehicle. And again, you can have a look down and see the huge amount of space, footwell space that you've got in there. And one of
Okay,
my favorite features as well is the glass canopy.
okay,
You can look up and you can see the glass canopy, a great amount of space there.
okay. So that looks great. Could I go outside and look at the colours, please?
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's just take you outside there, and I'll just shut this door so we can have a look at the colors. Okay, was there anything else in particular that you were thinking?
Well, fundamentally, I couldn't decide between the black
Yeah.
and the very the, you know, like the gunmetal grey silver.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So what I'll do is I'll just change you. You can have a Cosmos silver here if you prefer
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
There's actually a quantum grey as well,
yeah.
that you can use. Or this, what you haven't chosen much of is the stellar white.
Okay. So I think I am going to go for. Let's have a quick look. Um, I'm gonna go for the dark grey, please.
Okay, great. So that's the quantum grey. And have you put much thought into your alloys?
Um, Bigger is best, I would say. These are the biggest ones I can get.
Yeah, well, let's have a. I tell you what, we'll go and have a bit of a closer look in here, and let's have a look at your alloys. So you've got the 21-inch aero blade options, the one you chose. So there are different options. So I'll click and change. We can have a look at the 20-inch aero light, which is one again lovely. This is a gloss painted diamond turned face with a gloss jet black insert. And then you've also got the 19-inch aero range. So this is gloss jet black painted with enhanced machine finish. So lovely. So which out of the three were your preferences there, Darren?
The biggest one, please.
Okay, we'll go with the 21-inch aero blade there.
Yep, that's great. Well, I think I've got a pretty good looking car here.
Hmm.
In the quite interested in the old coastline animating in the background as well. I think that's quite interesting. But I'm going to go ahead. You know what, Phil?
Hmm.
I think I'm going to go ahead and reserve the car, please. How can we do that?
Okay, great. Well, if you want to click on your side, you've got a View, Summary, and Reserve tab there. So you go ahead and you can click that.
Yeah,
And then what you're able to see here is our specification that we've talked through today, everything that you've chosen. You've got a short code that's available there just if you want to return and have another conversation with us. And of course, you can see the price there for your selection. You're able to press Reserve now if you would like to do
okay.
this on your
Yeah,
side.
I'm going to go for it, Phil.
Great. Okay.
That's why we're
Well,
here.
excellent. Well, if you're all good, then what you're able to do on there, the configuration, everything is going to be matched across to that reservation page. You can pay obviously through Google Pay or through your credit card, and that'll match up to our system so that our Salesforce database is updated, and then we'll send that away and make sure it's ready for you manufacturing.
Well, that's great. Very much appreciated, Phil. Thank you. Thank you very much for all your help today. And I look forward to taking delivery of the car at some point in the future.
Great. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'll just do, Darren. Just a final thing on my side. I'm just going to end this session now, and I'm just going to put in a couple notes in here so that when you return, or if you've got any other questions, we've got the complete history of you and your session and everything else that we want to cover. And I'm going to submit this so that our sales team have got that in the Salesforce database, so that they don't hassle you again, and you can wait for your vehicle.
Right, that's great. Thank you very much, Phil. Cheers.
Thank you, Darren. Bye-bye.
So there you go then, a very, very quick whistle-stop tour of a live demo, Lucid Studio Live. This is running live currently with Lucid. It's fundamentally how they sell their vehicles, or a key part of how they sell their vehicles. You've heard us talk about it. I think the best thing to do now is to get the opinion of Mr. Thomas Orens, who's Director of Interactive Digital Marketing at Lucid Motors. Let's get his opinion of what Lucid Studio Live has done for them.
Lucid Studio Live is a remote experience of the configurator we use in the web. Means that you can use that remote experience, lean back and get entertained by an inside salesperson guiding you through the entire configuration process. Lucid Studio Live is such a valuable tool. It's amazingly successful. They love it. That's really a matter of fact. It has such an impact on what we do as a brand and how we engage with the customer. Lucid Studio Live fits extremely good into the customer journey because you can pick it up at any kind of point in the sales process. For instance, you might have an appointment at the retail location, but you can't make it. And the inside salesperson could offer, okay, if you can't make it today, let's do it where you are. And we can remotely dial into the experience, and I can still show you what you are interested about. So it's time and location independent. I would say that the results of Lucid Studio Live speaks for themselves because it's so successful, it's so engaging, it's so available all times, it's so intuitive for the customer and also for the inside salespeople. And if you just see the success metrics, the KPIs, the tracking we did, and compare this to other tools we might have or you might see all on the market, it's extremely successful.
Yeah, so many thanks, Thomas. Just to go through the stats that was revealed there. So the average configuration session length is 46 minutes, which is significantly more than the whistle-stop tour that Phil and I did. But if you think about it, it is about an equivalent amount of time to the actual interaction in a traditional dealership, if you ignore all the other stuff that goes on about going to see the sales manager, etc. So it gives the person a really, really good opportunity to understand everything about the vehicle. And the Lucid salesperson has got a specific script that they take everybody through, so people really, really understand how unique and how great the car is. Now, it's also, obviously, on the ZeroLight platform, it's a total omni-channel solution. So you can start and end anywhere. So you can start online, finish in a dealer. You can start in a Lucid Studio and complete your transaction online. But what they've noticed is if you've been through a Lucid Studio Live session, regardless of whether you complete in a Lucid Studio or complete on lucidmotors.com online, you're twice as likely to reserve the car. And they believe that's because you can understand the key features of the vehicle it's being talked through. So if you would like to have a one-to-one interactive demo, obviously we can run this for you. You all have my email address. Please reach out, and we'll be more than happy to take you through a one-to-one demo. And obviously you don't have the natural limitations of a webinar platform. You can see how smooth and interactive the vehicle is. So that brings us right to the end. We're just going to have a look if we've got any questions, and Phil's going to rejoin me. So Phil, one question: how long does Concierge take to set up?
Okay. Typically, there's two parts to it. So the first is receiving the vehicle data, and then the second is setting up your experience, how you want it to look. But typically, between about 3 to 6 months, I would say, on that question.
Okay. And then Do I need to take the whole platform, or can I just purchase Concierge?
You can just purchase Concierge. Lucid have got abundance of products through ZeroLight, but certainly it can be purchased just on its own.
Okay, and then the final question for the day is, what input formats do you take for the digital twin?
We take a range, really, anything. We can take from CAD drawings, Maya file, anything really. We're file agnostic, to be honest, at ZeroLight.
Great. Okay, now that's the end of the Q&A session. That's every question that we've had so far. If you have any more questions, by all means, email them in. Come and see us on the Amazon booth at CES 2022, those people that are going to CES. You're going to see some more innovation there. It's top secret at the moment, but it's coming along. Oh, there's one final question just come in. Is it available in multiple languages, Phil? Can you have Concierge in multiple languages?
Yeah, absolutely. We're rolling out Canada and throughout Europe with Lucid right now.
Okay, that's great. Well, thanks a lot, everybody. Much appreciated. Giving up half an hour of your Friday afternoon or Friday morning. Have a great weekend and take care. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.